So you found the property, you closed on the property, you've done your renovations, you've made it through project management. Now what? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of property management when holding investment properties. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm John. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of property management. I jotted down some notes of things that I thought about that came to mind in what we deal with property management. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So I won't keep you waiting any longer. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So I'll go through 3 pros and I'll also go through 3 cons of property management. So if we kick it off with number 1, the first pro with property management is going to be that your property management company, they're going to be your first point of contact. So no longer do you have to worry about your tenant calling you. Really, your tenant should not have your contact information at all. And that PM company should be the sole contact for your tenant. This is good because tenants can care less about your business hours. So if you can outsource this or delegate it to a property management company, now you don't have to worry about those types of interruptions during your day. So that's the first pro with having a property management company. Now let's kick it off with the con. So I'll go pro, con, pro, con. So one con with having a property management company is going to be that the PM company, they have to be paid, and that most likely is going to come from a percentage of the gross rents. Some PM companies may do a flat rate as well. So your gross is going to be how much you're charging for rent. So if I charge $1,000, that's how much my gross is. If my expenses are 400, then my net is 600. So your gross is what you make, and your net is what you get to keep. So that's going to be a con, is that you have to pay. They are providing a service, so you have to pay for it. So what's another pro of property management? The next pro is going to be that the PM company, they have systems and processes in place to effectively serve you and your tenant. They have systems and processes to help onboard your property to different government programs, whether it's Section 8. If we go through an event like we just had a couple years ago, they're familiar with some of the with some of the governmental agencies and programs that can assist your tenants when they're not able to make their rent payments. So that's another pro of having a property manager. And let's follow that up with another con. So another con of having property management in place is that any repairs needed by the property management company, they're going to charge a surcharge on top of the actual repair costs. So for smaller handyman repairs, they may have an in-house an in-house handyman to where you may be at market rate or slightly above, but for the most part, any of the other major things, they're going to get that estimate from that vendor and add on, maybe 10 to 15% on top of that. So just keep that in mind. It's not that big, but just keep that in mind, and I think that we would put that in the con box. So the last pro that I'll leave you all with is that the PM company, they have knowledge of the fair housing laws, and they have legal contacts in case you ever need to go a legal route with the tenant. You may have to evict the tenant. It's always good to have someone in place where you don't have to do all of that. You have a PM company that will be working with their attorney in order to carry out that eviction. And the last con will be that most PM companies, they're going to require you to escrow a few $100s, somewhere between $400 and $600 with them for smaller repairs that they can just address immediately. They don't want to have to track you down, or you got to send in a check, or you got to Zelle over a payment, a Cash App, or upload it or give them a credit card over the phone. They need an escrow right there so that they're able to address it, because they're the ones that have to deal with that tenant when the tenant is blowing their phone up for a repair that really does not take that long to get someone assigned and addressed. So that's the last con. So depending on really how you look at this, Some of my cons can be your pros. Some of my pros can be your cons. And I honestly do think that they can be vice versa as well. If you have a property management company, then yeah, it may be flipped for you. If you're a tenant, it may be flipped for you, just depending on how you look at it. Both the pros and cons, I do think that all of them are necessary in order to best serve the tenants. So if you don't want anybody taking a percentage of your gross rents, you can always do everything that comes along with property management. So you can manage disgruntled tenants, you can manage vendors and contractors, you can collect the rent, and you can manage the turnover, etc. So if you're looking to mitigate having to pay 9, 10, 11% to a property manager, then you can take on that responsibility yourself. So that can be hard if you're looking to scale a portfolio, if you already work a full-time job. Having a property manager, if you're investing out of state, then having a property manager may be good for you. But if you have the capacity, then that's something that you can always take on yourself. If you don't want to pay a surcharge, you can always build out your own scopes of work. You can always manage unforeseens. You can always call contractors that you've never met and get estimates from them, or else have them meet you at the property for them not to show up, or else make sure that they show up and do the work correctly and pay them. If you want to take on all of those moving parts, you don't have to worry about paying a surcharge that a property management company may charge you. And lastly, if you don't like escrowing funds with the company, you just don't understand, why do I have to escrow the funds with you? How come I can't keep them on me and just call me when something comes up? The tenant can wait. You can always serve as the first point of contact for disgruntled tenants where funds were not escrowed to handle matters that should be able to be addressed as soon as possible by most likely an in-house worker or handyman. So we got problems and we got solutions and we got pros and cons. So you can just find out where you fit in between there. As I mentioned, some of my pros may be some people's cons, and some people's cons may be some people's pros. So if you like videos like this, definitely like the channel. Again, I'm John Lewis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100, not 100, I've surpassed 100, but 500 subscribers, and I would love if you can help me get there. So I will see you all on next week's video.